boys and girls, ladies and gents, friends from far and wide, it's that time again. It's that time again where we revisit a series that started one of the great gifts of this tragedy, some would call it this pandemic of COVID, which is a moment of repose I spend with you here, dear friends, exploring great books of our time. I know you've missed them. I know you've waited to hear more great books, and you may have been here for such favorites as The Man-Catcher's Manual. That was a good one. Didn't we all enjoy that? Taught us such thing as, how do you recognize a millionaire in a bathing suit? Well, then of course, we also revisited Las Vegas Lesbian, the pulp classic. Enjoyed that. No, you did. Some racy bits in that. And of course, there was also How to Attract Men. You might be noticing a theme here. These are important books from my estimation. Now, the book we're going to look at today is quite different. Okay, it's very different than the last ones we did, and it's very near and dear to my heart. It's my favorite book. Oh, damn it, I've lost my page. It's my favorite book, and it's called The Place by Gary Douglas. I'll peer out from behind it at you. The Place. And I wanted to read to you this because I'm stalling while I find the page. There it is. Tomorrow, in about 24 hours, I'm starting a series of energy polls. Now, what's an energy poll? Well, an energy poll is something we can all do and choose. It's actually really easy. I know you think it's hard work because you think pulling, well, we have to put a lot of effort into that. But no, it isn't. It's basically just where you identify an energy that you'd like to add to your life or something that you'd like to have and find, and you pull it in. Just like you all started doing now. We're going to do them for 5 days, for 20 minutes a day, as a little bit of daily activity and exercise to get us moving and drawing things in, if you will. Can be anything. And there's a section in this book, The Place by Gary Douglas, where he talks about something that he's called here need and tug. And he goes through and describes it. Now, bear with me a moment. Sometimes these readings are a bit jarring as we jump in mid-paragraph, mid-sentence sometimes even. So I won't give you all the back chat. I'm just going to start where we start. So here it is. This is the main character, Jake, talking, and he says, "Now what do I do, Ryan?" "Jacob, you remember the story about Uncle Jed finding gold when he was back east? Have you ever considered how he did that?" "To be honest," says Jake, "I assumed he had some machine or divining rods or something that led him to the gold." "Boys, will you take this vial of gold nuggets and Jacob and lead him to the creek around Devlin's Point? Show him how to ask the gold to come to him." The boys touched my hands, and suddenly we are by a small creek, and I can only assume by the fact that there is a tall rock that looks like a point that we have arrived. Now what, boys? Justine, don't worry if you've no idea what's happening, neither do I. Most of the time. Okay, Mr. Rain, says one of the boys. This is how you do it. You know how you can feel the difference in us when you close your eyes? They're twins that are talking here. And earlier in the book, he realizes if he closes his eyes, he can tell the difference between which boy's which. Well, this isn't really any different. The group knew you would have this ability when you could tell the difference between us with such ease, and that the fact that you could feel the numbers of people in the place instantaneously. So what we want you to do is place the gold in one hand and then the other until you have the feeling of the difference between with and without. To help, we have an identical bottle filled with just sand. Close your eyes and we will move the bottles back and forth. As the bottles began to move back and forth from one hand to the other, I suddenly can feel the energetic difference that the gold had. Boys, I've got it. I can feel the difference. The boys walk towards the stream. The snow, a bundle of protection for the ground, disappears in a 12-foot circle as the boys touch it. It just sort of slides away from their hands. Okay, Mr. Rain, now you have to ask for the gold to come to you, just the way you called for us that first night when you were hurt. I don't remember what that was like, boys. Suddenly, their thoughts invade my mind, and I can feel the intensity of how they must have felt my thoughts that night. It is so demanding and commanding, with an added passion of need. I kind of hate the awareness of how it sounded. The boys laugh, and the embarrassment that I feel leaves almost instantly. That's exactly the energy that you have to use to call the gold to you, Mr. Rain. Just ask, and you will receive. Now, that's all of that fine book I'm going to read to you today, this morning. I'm very excited for this call. It's, as I say, it starts tomorrow. I've had a lot of resistance to doing energy pulls. I thought they were a bit silly and naff. And then I realized that usually what I resist, it's because I actually have a great capacity with it and a talent. So if you're sitting there going, that sounds dumb, you might want to look at too what you could receive from this. It's 69 Australian dollars for the 5 days, 20 minutes a day. And I'd love to have you there if you're interested to learn more about how easy it can be to just ask and receive. So, we'll see you there for those that dare.